What's going on, everybody? It's Tech Money. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Rambling and gambling. It's about 3:26 p.m. Eastern. We in the money. Full discretion. We're brand new in the season. It's the first time it's happening. But if you saw earlier, I was tweeting that I'm in Texas Rangers money line -115. Yes, I am in it, and I am gonna keep it. But I want to put the warning out there. Some of my angle just became slightly, maybe a little bit weaker. Just two things. Chirinos is not in the lineup, and neither is Sin-Chu. The one reason why I like Chirinos in the lineup is his ISO against left-handed pitchers. He's above 200, batting .212, so that's always a good sign. That doesn't make or break the lineup, but it definitely helps. And Sin-Chu can be a power bat, and you'll see why. And he's also over 200 on the ISO. But you'll see why, as I break this down, why I think missing a power bat may be a big deal here. So I am still in the Texas Rangers -115. It's still going to be an official play, full discretion. If I had seen the lineup, there may be a small chance I may not have made it an official play because there's such a big slate. There's other things out there. But I put deep thought into it. I thought of all the angles. If we cancel, how do I let people know if you're following, or how can I help you hedge and all that? Called up my guy Matt. We talked it through. It's, you're looking at one team to win versus the other. So I'm going to break the game down while we're in it. And I think I'm definitely still going to stay in it. I just like it slightly less, but it might also just be a biasness I have with Sin-Chu a little bit. So the main reason why we were originally attacking, this game to take Texas Rangers, and it's still relevant, but it's now slightly maybe turning into more of a pitching angle, was that Bumgarner has a very high hard contact rate, second highest of the night, 44.3%. His ground ball rate is 35.4%. So if he's giving up contact, it's up in the air, and it's distance. Why does that matter in this game? Because the Texas Rangers have a lot of guys that can bash the ball, like Joey Gallo and Rougned Odor. If you ever follow an account called @MLB Barrel Alerts, they'll give you these type of stats. But Gallo's barrel rate last year is 26.4%, and Rougned Odor was 13.2. They're very high. That means when they get on the ball, they're crushing it. So if you combine that type of information against how Bumgarner guaranteed gives up hard contact, we can see some balls flying, and hopefully the angle we can attack is that the Rangers offense can start putting in some runs, some men on base, and maybe some home runs and runs in early and start building up a lead. All right. Now, the sad part about it is that Sin-Chu, I think he was a good player in this lineup because he has power. And Chirinos just has good ISO. He's batted against left-handed pitchers 566 times. Above 100, above 200 ISO. So just missing a stat. I love playing with stats. So I jumped in on this because there were so many click, looking at things. Everything was working out. And then all of a sudden, two guys were out. So it became a mental hurdle. Like, oh, what just happened? So that's where I just want to put the warning out there. You saw on Twitter that alert, these two guys are out, simply because my original thought process was around them. As I still break the game down, I'm now thinking the batting side's still relevant. Okay? We're going to still... you never know if you've watched these games. Joey Gallo is one of the players that could hit 2 home runs in a day. You've seen that happen. So we're still relying on that lineup to get up inside Bumgarner. And Bumgarner's shaky with the Ks. He's not the greatest with having a high strikeout rate. Now, the Rangers do have a high strikeout rate on this slate. I made a mistake earlier in a tweet saying they're actually the lowest. I mixed that up. They're not. So they have a high strikeout rate, but I think it's going to be alleviated by the fact that Bumgarner's kind of all over the place, and he doesn't throw that many walks, only 5.3%. So I think all in combined, the angle originally that I was tweeting about bats getting in on Bumgarner is still alive. We're just missing 2 familiar bats. And the other key thing that I want to kind of rely on is that I think Lance Lynn, on metrics, on paper, looks very good today. He's got a very high strikeout rate with 28.4%, and we know the Diamondbacks can strike out. They're in the middle of the pack with 21.7. So if Lynn can do his thing, he's throwing strikes. He does not give up much hard contact and ground balls in this slate. It's average. So we're looking at on a pitching situation where if Lynn can do what he's known to do against what we've seen with Arizona, that's overall so far young into the young part of the season, early part of the season, they are having trouble. Hope the angle that we have here is that Lance Lynn can do his job, and the bats can get underneath Bumgarner. It's now definitely slightly riskier in my mindset because there's two key players I'm familiar with that are out. But with everything in play, with considering how everything works with you guys betting and staying in, I don't think it's worth going through canceling and this and that. And I still think the better team prevails here, and I think the better and stronger angle we have here today is relying on the Rangers' bats to attack Bumgarner early. So if you've been watching us for the many past slates and the games, we've been breaking each game down, why we're attacking it through the game. When it's happening, we break down what went wrong, what's happening. You've been following us. You know about that very well. Beautiful wins yesterday and the night before. We're 7-2 official in the MLB picks at Ramblin' and Gamblin'. We're looking to go for an 8th one here. This may be one of the hardest ones we're picking, believe it or not, on the paper now since opening day. But hey, I'm up for the challenge, and at the end of the day, one team has to win. I think the angle that we're taking is the more logical angle, backed up with some metrics. So let's take the Rangers bats to get up and in on Bumgarner early. And if we don't do that, let's see how the game prevails. Again, Arizona is having some struggle batting, and maybe we can get some power and some barrel alerts going off that account at MLB Barrel Alert. Again, minus 115, Texas Rangers money line. Good luck, stay green, ramblin' and gamblin'.